If you look at all educational studies in this country on teacher retention, it said you needed to keep teachers in the toughest, neediest schools in order for children to get their lives and turn around their schools to make them successful schools. We made a commitment to these different communities to stand up for them through our strategic plan. That's why we developed the strategic plan. We skip teachers now. You just read off. We skipped over 300 teachers as it is today because of credentialing issues. We skip them right now. We're adding another 70 teachers because we believe that all these people who went to those schools made a commitment to those communities, to those children, and to this school district, and therefore we as a district owe them a debt of gratitude and support to say, if you are committed to us, we're going to be committed to you and we're going to stand by you. We are bringing this today, and I know it's tough, but we're bringing this today because the soup zones have 4 times more layoffs than the district as a whole being recommended. And if we allow that to happen, after investing $1.3 million in professional development in the soup schools for teachers, and not to mention the $6 million, including instructional coaches, to change those entire paradigm of those old schools because we needed to act and intervene in those schools. That's why we did it. 9 of the 14 schools in the soup zones are SIG schools. And remember, these are the lowest of low. And you know what? In the short time that we've been doing this, identifying this, we're starting to show results. We're starting to show double-digit growth in some of those areas. And we're demonstrating that, yes, we can close the achievement gap. But we've got to do it like we've never done before if we're going to be successful.
Skipping is wrong. For board members voting to do it is wrong. It is wrong. Stability in the zones is not achieved by destabilizing other schools. Professional development in the zones is lessened when the opportunity is not available for others. When you choose social justice for some, you choose social justice for none. Board members aren't elected to make decisions that they know are wrong. Skipping schools and creating tie-breaking rules that allow it is wrong. It is immoral, it is divisive, it will not be forgotten, it will not be forgiven. Thank you.
So I know the power of seniority, but it is a hard decision for me to make too. And I think it's hard for everyone up here today to make this decision too. Personally, I resent that every year as a board member, I have had to make this vote, ugly as it is. It is a direct result of what happens when a state underfunds education. And it's true. It pits people against people. It pits program against program. We see it at school site councils. And today it pits labor against also board members and also the district. And it is the wrong way to work. And as Mr. Kelly said, it is wrong. And there are many, many things that are wrong. But there are some things that I cannot ignore. One is that before I became a board member, I was a community organizer. And I worked for Coleman Advocates. And year after year after year, we saw broken promise after broken promise to the students in the Bayview. Yes, Mr. Kelly, there are many things wrong with this. But I believe in my heart this is right for the students. Promise, broken promise after broken promise. I can no longer be part of it. I cannot be part of it. I stood at that podium and I reprimanded the school board for broken promises to all those children in the Bayview. I sat in their living rooms and I spoke to their parents and their grandparents. I know there are other schools in need. We are at a point where we have spent millions and millions of dollars invested in this resource. And I cannot, in good conscience, allow that resource to leave the zone and move to even another district. I just can't do it. I am voting for this resolution, and do I think that it is fair? Do I think that it is wholly right to do? I am trying in the best way I know how to change for decades what has happened to these schools. Every teacher should get this kind of professional development and this training. Every school, every teacher, every school.
Don't do it for one.
This is where we disagree, because we've invested money that we have gotten, and we won't always have it. No, it isn't just money. It is how we have used this money in professional development, which every teacher in this district, I think, agrees that we need more of. So I am not going to argue here, because you have had your 2 minutes, and now it's my turn to speak. I'm asking my fellow board members today to join me. This is I am terrified to do this, but I know in my heart that I cannot look at myself in the mirror and not make this vote. I have an opportunity here to do something that I begged board members for decades to do, and that is to help these schools. And this is the best way I know how.
I think that why I have struggled so much with this is that I think that the data that you all gave us does show that there's an arbitrariness to where we have drawn the lines, to where we have drawn the superintendent zone. Why isn't El Dorado a superintendent zone school? It should be a superintendent zone school. I asked that question to the superintendent today. I have asked the deputy superintendent that question, and the answer was, we can't do all the schools at once. Given what I know that our budget looks like, given what has happened every year to our budget since I've sat on this board, I know that they're right. We can't do everything that we should do, that we should rightly do, that our students deserve. I think that this is a step that we must take at this time to really fully realize the investments that we have made in schools that have generationally been have not done what needed to be done for their students, and we're seeing progress, and I'm very grateful for that. So while this is a very scary and unhappy vote, I am going to support the resolution.
I've thought a lot about, I understand the principles of seniority I believe in. I also understand and know how, and I've looked at all the data. I'm persuaded, for instance, by the fact that the schools that we're proposing to skip here have had averaged 4 times the turnover of other schools in the district. I think that even if we do this, the length of service of the teachers in those schools will still be much shorter than it is in other schools. The schools that we have that have been most successful in the district have had extraordinary stability in their staffs. After all of these considerations, and particularly the idea that this is something that is about equity, that I've come to the conclusion that I am going to support this the way it stands. Thank you.